Hello, everyone. Welcome to our discussion for our topic on Module 2, which is freedom as the foundation of morality. For this particular discussion, we will focus on the different views of different philosophers on freedom or liberty and how it correlates with our discussion in ethics, or as we have already previously discussed on morality. So, this topic is actually called from Dr. Manny D's book on the philosophy of man. This is actually an article from that book, and these are selected readings that I have already shortened into short discussions for our discussion. So, to start, man as liberty. There are quite a few, or there are different views on how we understand, or there are different understanding on freedom or liberty that comes to mind. I know most of you already has an idea of what freedom is, or in particular what human freedom is and how it relates with our study in ethics. So let us point our discussion to the first idea on freedom is that, or actually, philosophy is actually by B.F. Skinner. He is actually a psychologist, not just a philosopher, but according to him, man's freedom is absolutely determined. So, in this sense, man's behavior is shaped and determined by forces outside of himself. According to him, our actions are not solely our own, but our actions are determined, or it is caused by other external forces and stimuli that are outside of us, and or these are things that we can not go away with. One example is our um, biological framework. Okay, we cannot choose to be born in a particular gender, or we cannot choose to be born with a particular skin color or hair, right? This is what he means when we are actually absolutely determined. There is something that cost who we become or who we are in biological sense. And if you think about it, this is logical. We come from the wombs of our mothers, and we cannot choose our gender, how we are born, right? What um what kind of face we'll have, or who among our parents will we most likely look alike, right? And other physical features or structures. That's Skinner's argument regarding freedom or man's freedom. For him, we are absolutely determined. For him, essence precedes existence. Okay? Um, we exist um essence is already given to us and then we exist. Okay? Something, okay, kung kinsa ta, nabuhat na tadaan kung kinsa ta, then we go to the world. That's how he looks at freedom. Okay? And there are other structures like environmental structures or like culture, national or ecclesiastical. Like you cannot choose to be born in another country, or you cannot choose to be born with a different set of culture, diba? You can no longer choose that. So that's why he said that we are absolutely determined. Even our religion and all other forces or external forces and demands that you can think of. If you see here, man is absolutely determined. So man did not cause this himself. This is already predetermined for man or for us in that sense. But then um, there are actually arguments um, against Skinner or his views. It says here, if we hold that there are other levels of experience which cannot be explained or reduced to external factors and stimuli, it's that yes, you cannot choose to be born with your choice of face or your choice of skin, hair, or physical structure, but you can make yourself aware of those physical limitations. You know that you are limited. So it is still your choice to do something about it. And aside from that, you can also question your environmental structures. You are actually free to scrutinize the culture that you are in, especially if it somehow, um, you know, you feel bothered about things going on with your culture or with your environment. You can actually do something about it. You're free to do something about it, right? And you can achieve things because the argument there is this stems from a different philosopher, because according to Sartre, man is absolutely free. Now, class, Jean-Paul Sartre is one of the most popular um, existentialist philosophers of all time. He is a French philosopher, and he is one of the best philosophers this world has ever created. Um, According to him, man is absolutely free. Okay, this is an argument against Skinner's view that we are absolutely determined. Now, when we say we are absolutely free, there is nothing or no one that caused our existence. Because according to him, existence precedes essence. What does it mean? It means that man exists into the world and he creates his own meaning because he has a choice. Okay? And one thing that I'd like to point out is that Sartre does not believe in the idea of a God. I'm not saying he's an atheist, but he just do not accept the concept, because if there is a God, as you can, if you can read it there, according to him, if there is a God, then he will be the ultimate cause of everything, especially of man and his actions. Okay, he would be the creator. Then therefore, man is determined. According to him, this is where his philosophy really stemmed from. He said that man cannot be free in some things and not be free in others. Dili, according to him, dili pwede nga free ka in some things, but in some things, dili. No. We have a choice. Maugid ni ang pinaka iconic na statement when we think of Sartre or Sartre's philosophy in existentialism. He is actually one of the forebearers of this philosophy. It's not a philosophy, but it's a study. Okay. Um, for Sartre, we always have a choice. There is no middle ground. There is no other factors determining our self. It's only us and the things that are happening around us. So if you talk to Sartre and he hears you saying, "I don't have a choice," or "These are my only choice," he will tell you, you have a choice, and your choice is either you don't want to do something or you don't want to address that there is actually a choice, even though it's only one choice. That's the choice. Diba? So you can never say it in Sartre's face that there is no choice. There will always be a choice. For Sartre, freedom is a negation. It's a negating power of consciousness. This means reducing the other person to an object. Okay. Now, there are actually also objections to Sartre's philosophy. How can you say, Sartre, that I am absolutely free when I cannot even choose to be born with a rich family? Sartre would tell you that you actually have a choice to live your life as if you are born with a rich family. It's up to you. The choice there is to continue thinking and living poor or to do something about it and, you know, live as if you are rich. That's it. How can you say, Start, that I am absolutely free when I can't even climb that big rock or pass through it? So therefore, I am limited. Sartre would tell you that it's your choice to climb on top of that rock or to pass through it. There are other ways. You have a choice. You can either go the other way or, I don't know, you have a choice so that you can pass through that rock. This is what it means that existence precedes essence. Man creates his own meaning. And that is part of being absolutely free. Now, there is a different view that somehow tugs both Sartre and Skinner's view on human freedom. This is the phenomenology of freedom by Maurice Merleau-Ponty. Now, according to Ponty, our freedom is situated. It is interwoven with the field of existence. Our choices are not made from absolute zero, but from this field of meaning. Outside of myself, there is no limit to my freedom, but in myself, there are limits. Okay? That's really interesting. Okay? Outside myself, there is no limit to my freedom. But in myself, there are limits. If you think about it, outside the self, we can do anything we want, right? We can go anywhere we want to go. That's outside of you. Say, for example, you can actually slap another person. That's outside of the body, that's outside of yourself. But within yourself, you are limited because inside of you, there is that nagging telling you that slapping another person is wrong because that is the person's right, not it's the other person's right not to be harmed. Okay, therefore, for Maurice Merleau-Ponty, freedom is situated. It's how you view it. It's how you go through it. Okay? It is true that I can change habits or transcend facticity, but I can only do so from those standpoints. So, a good example of situated freedom is revolution. Diba? Revolution, like the EDSA revolution. It is neither purely determined nor completely free. Okay? So, this is how Merleau-Ponty view freedom. However, for Gabriel Marcel, according to him, freedom belongs to the realm of being. Because freedom is not distinct from us, this is not a possession. Freedom is a mystery and not a problem. So we should not view freedom as anything that hinders, or freedom is something that we can possess. Freedom is not ours, according to Marcel. Freedom is apart apart from us. Okay? We should not view freedom as our possession. Okay, that's how we view freedom. Free mo ko nga tao, ako maning choice, right? But for Marcel, we should not see it as a possession. It should be a mystery. Okay? It's not ours. So if you think about it, the four distinctions of freedom are all are the four of them are very much not the same. Okay. Now let's go to freedom of choice and fundamental option. I'm sure you have read your handouts and you already went through this slide. Okay. So there are two types of freedom. So this is the types of freedom. Um, the first type of freedom is what we most commonly know, and this is the freedom of choice, or we call it horizontal freedom because you think of a horizontal line and your choices are at both ends of those lines. So it's either this thing or that thing, both on the other ends of the horizontal line. So the choosing is horizontal. And when we say freedom of choice, it's either to choose to buy a new shoes or not. That's the choice. That's the horizontal freedom. So that's freedom of choice, either to buy a new shoes or not. That's the choice. Now, if we take a look at it deeply, there is also another type of freedom which is important to be detected, especially in ethics or in the study of morality, what we call the fundamental freedom or the fundamental option, which is the vertical freedom. So this will be intersecting your horizontal line. Okay, you still think of the horizontal line where you choose from buying a new shoes or not, and then intersect it with the vertical freedom. Now, what is this fundamental option? When we say fundamental options, this now has a this is the value, okay, the values that you um, inculcate in your life. So values are actually ranked, they have hierarchy. Mao na siya nga vertical line. So from down to up. Okay? So aha man mag-meet ang imuhang freedom. Ba naman ay point sa to nga sa intersection if we use math. Okay, so aha man nag-meet. Now, in the fundamental option, you have to distinguish or you have to know the values that you are inculcating in your life. Now, for example, let's go back to the example. From the freedom of choice is you are choosing between buying a new shoes or not. But you are considering now, if we go to the fundamental option, you are now considering, if I buy this shoes, I will not be able to give money to my sibling whom I am helping in her studies. But if I buy these shoes, okay, if I buy these shoes, this will give me a sense of accomplishment that I can buy things for myself using my own money. Okay? So now, the fundamental option there is unsa man ang imong pinaka-value. Is it the love for your family or the love for aesthetics, which is buying a new shoes just because it's new and and it's just because you can. Mo na siya ang fundamental option. Okay? You have to realize and you have to prefer higher values all the time. It's easy to choose from the horizontal level, but our choice must also be considerate of what values we really value in our life. And according to Max Scheller, the highest value is love and the lowest is egoism. So I guess you now have an idea on how freedom is a foundation of morality, because if we go back to the case analysis that we previously discussed in our last session, you were faced with a dilemma, and freedom most of the time really has a role to play in those kinds of situations. And even in acting or doing what is right, freedom really is a foundation of morality, because we are free individuals. We act. We can do whatever we want, but it doesn't mean we have to do it. 'di ba? Yes, you can um throw punches here and there, but as long as nobody gets hurt, because right po sa other people na dili sila masakitan. So remember this, class. Our freedom ends where the other person's freedom begins. Okay? Paglabas sa atong kaugalingon, wala na. Malimited na atong freedom, ana. Especially when it comes to other people. Yes, we are free to do whatever we want, but if we are considerate and responsible enough and we take accountability to our actions, we are now limited because ang ubang tao pod naapod sila ilang kaugalingong freedom or right. And that's what we need to really concretize in our minds. Now, okay, it's not actually Spider-Man who said that, it's Uncle Ben, right? That he said in the movie that with great power comes great responsibility. This is also the same case with freedom. With great freedom comes great responsibility as well. If you are free to do whatever you want, you have to be responsible about your actions. Diba? Just like the example, you can sing at the top of your lungs, but as long as nobody can hear you or you cannot disturb other people, diba? You can play games all you want as long as you are not disturbing other people or you are not um, endangering or infringing other people's freedom. This is freedom and responsibility. Okay. Um, it says here that the two types of freedom should all can be seen in corollary with freedom, which is responsibility. And we have to remember that freedom is the other side of responsibility is the other side of freedom. Again, kauban na sila all the time. Okay? Um, the first meaning of responsibility here is accountability. Whether you are you should be able to give account of the actions that you are doing. Kay imuha man ng gibuhat. You are free to do that, but you have to be accountable all the time. Okay? I acted on my own or you acted on your own. Nobody told you na buhaton na nimo. So you have to be accountable. So say for example, um, mag-cheat ka sa exam. Um, Nobody told you, o sige, let's say, um, your friend would tell you nga, manghupyan na lang gud ta kay para makapasar. But the end choice there is actually yours still. Diba? Ikaw man ang mubuhat sa action nga mag-cheat. Yes, naminaw ka sa imong classmate or sa imong friend, but then at the end of the day, the choice will be ultimately yours. So you have to be accountable of that action. Now, if you are accountable, you know that cheating is not an act of a moral person, right? Now, the second meaning of responsibility or the second meaning of freedom is the second meaning of responsibility is responsibility or the ability to be truly responsive objectively. Okay, meaning you know how to respond to a certain situation objectively. Again, class, this is very important to take note that we always need to use our reason and impartiality all the time. Okay, we have to be fair in our dealings, especially moral situations. We can never go away with this. Now, you have to remember that you have to be accountable and you have to be objective. All right. So let's move to the next topic. Now, before we end, all right, sorry. Now, freedom and justice. This is one of the most common view when we talk about um, freedom. Please disregard the um, picture. um, Although, yeah, that's the relationship of freedom and justice. It has a relationship, okay. And justice is giving to the other person what is due to him or to her, and what is due to the other is all that he needs to preserve and enhance his dignity as a human being. So, as like my example, um, freedom sa ubang tao nga dili madisturbo, or freedom sa ubang tao nga dili mapasakitan, or dili kanang paliwala ang ilang rights, 'di ba? Justice means ihatag na nimo sa ila. Okay, but we are also obliged to give the other what the other needs to enhance his dignity. For example, we have this what we call preferential option for the poor. Are you familiar with that? Um, we should first give to those who are below us in terms of economic life. What do we mean by this? Nganong kinahanglan unahon man nato na sila? In life, sa kinabuhi, kinahanglan equal ang tanan. So, how can we be equal kung naiuban nga, say for example, hay nga ni ha, um, nag-pandemic, of course, nag-ECQ, and then everything were shut, everything stopped. Okay, we cannot go out. So how can we eat? How can we provide for ourselves? So the government mediated by giving us mga ayuda. Okay. Sige, ayuda. Kung tagaan ang isa, dapat tagaan ang tanan. But then, think of it this way. Dili na gyud siya equal. Dili na siya equal in a sense nga naa pa man po'y mas pobre pa, 'di ba? Or mas lisod pa og kahimtang kaysa sa atoa. Kita nga medyo makaya na to makakaon og katulo sa isa ka adlaw, whereas nay uban nga bisag pagkaon lang sa isa ka adlaw dili nila makuha. What will we do para ma-equal? Iuna na to silang angat. So how do we do that? Mas tagaan sa nato sila. Okay? We give them what we can. And then, later on, ma-equal na ta. Kanang gihatag nga ayuda sa tua. Okay? Okay na siya. Pero, you know how people are. People will always say na unfair, na dili equal. Especially, kanang mga arangan yun. No offense meant, guys, but I know certain people na nagreklamo because ngano ko nung wala sila gi-identify to receive ayuda from last year. They weren't able to receive the one sack of rice and pila to ka delata and all that stuff. They even clamored on social media about it na ngano di ay og naami negosyo, ngano di ay og so and so, ngano dili man mitagaan dapat equal. Yes, naay point na dapat tagaan tanan kay ayuda is for everyone, but if you really think about it, mas privileged ka kaysa sa uban nga nanginahanglan. So, that's how we should view freedom and justice. Okay? I ihatag sa nimo ang para sa ilaha. Then if nahatag na nato ang para sa ilaha, then we are all equal. Ahe na siguro dayon ta magreklamo kung equal na gyud ang footing. Okay? Ahe na ta magreklamo nga unfair. Okay? There are other situations na makita na ninyo. But as of now, mugid na akong pinakamakita, especially now with this pandemic. Ay, yes. And another thing, vaccine. Um, daghan mag-guilty ani. Ang priority is our frontliners. But why is it na katong time pa lang sa frontliners, daghan na kaayo nga dili frontliners ang nakasingit just because they can, just because they are influential. Okay, again, no offense meant, but I'm just trying to give you a picture. How can we say that we are equal kung sa ingon ana nga butang we cannot, even hold ourselves accountable ana nga mga actions. Kita pa'y masuko kung ignanta nga. Wala, nag-una-una. Okay, I'm sorry. This is too much information. Anyway, I hope you get the point. And I hope you were able to internalize the discussion. And if you have questions or you need clarification regarding this topic, please do email me and contact me in whatever form. I will try to be very responsive as much as I can. And yeah, thank you so much for your time, and I hope you have learned something from this video discussion. I will see you on our next discussion. Thank you and stay safe.